Mom, during summer vacation, I want to go to Grandma's house by myself.
Oh, Kelly, you're already in 2nd grade. And soon you'll have a little brother. You want to be a big sister, huh?
Yeah. I need to take a train and bus, right? I want to try going alone for the first time.
I was a bit worried when Kelly mentioned her first errand using trains and buses to go to the neighboring state, but I didn't want to dampen her enthusiasm. So, I decided to trust my daughter and let her try. I'll contact Grandma, okay?
Okay.
Grandma in this context refers to my husband's mother, my mother-in-law. My own parents live far away and require a plane ride to visit, making it a bit too challenging for a first errand. So, I called my mother-in-law. Sorry to bother you. Kelly wants to try going to your place alone during this summer vacation. Would that be all right? My mother-in-law responded.
Huh?
Thinking my mother-in-law might not have heard me well, I repeated myself. Is it okay if Kelly comes to visit you during this summer vacation? To which my mother-in-law replied.
You don't have to repeat it. I heard you. So, Kelly is coming. Understood. Well, it can't be helped. But just make sure she brings enough money for food.
Huh? Money for food? I was surprised by my mother-in-law's response, and it made me anxious whether it would really be okay for Kelly to go alone during the summer vacation. I'm Natalie, a 35-year-old housewife. I used to work as a hairstylist, but I transitioned to being a full-time housewife when I became pregnant with my 2nd child. When Kelly was in my belly, I didn't suffer much from morning sickness and had a smooth pregnancy. However, this time around, the morning sickness is severe, and I've been advised by the doctor to take it easy due to some complications. We have a child, Kelly, who is in the 2nd grade. She's a very cheerful and caring girl. If I'm lying down due to morning sickness, she'll fold the laundry in my place. It may be a bit messy, but her gesture makes me happy. And there's another member of the family still inside my belly. I was approaching my due date. It could happen any time now. It would be ideal if the birth and hospital stay were over while Kelly is at Grandma's house during this summer vacation. I know it's selfish of me to think like this. Babies have their own timing, don't they? I whispered to my belly. Kelly is earnestly packing her belongings. Her backpack is filled with toys. Kelly, if you bring only toys, you won't have room for clothes.
Oh, you're right.
Realizing it, Kelly quickly took out some toys. It's adorable how she acts. Ah, I remembered what my mother-in-law said. Make sure she brings enough money for food. Surely, she didn't mean it seriously. I've never heard of grandparents charging money when their grandchildren come to visit. But just in case, I gave Kelly an envelope with $300 inside, saying, "Keep this money with you just in case. But remember, don't spend it. It's like a lucky charm." Kelly replied,
Okay. I won't use it.
And tucked it away at the bottom of her backpack. As the end of summer vacation approached, I received news that Kelly would be coming home, and I eagerly welcomed her at the front door. Before the doorbell even finished ringing, I opened the door. Kelly. But to my surprise, Kelly burst into tears the moment she saw my face.
Mom.
Kelly looked painfully thin and pale.
Mom, I missed you.
Kelly, what happened? Did something happen at Grandma's? Kelly started to talk slowly about what had happened at her grandmother's house. As I listened, I was shocked by Kelly's story, and then a wave of anger started to build inside me. My daughter was feeling nervous as she boarded the train. It was her first long trip alone. She felt like she was becoming a big sister already. Since she would soon actually become one, she was filled with determination to do her best. After transferring trains and buses, she finally arrived at her grandmother's house.
Mom said my grandma would welcome me, but no one's here.
Despite her confusion, she tried to enter the house. She heard a baby crying from inside. Excitedly, my daughter realized there was a baby inside and hurried into the house. There, my sister-in-law had returned home for the birth, and there was a newborn baby.
Baby.
Oh, you're here. Can't you even say hello? I wonder what kind of education you've had.
My mother-in-law held the baby while saying that to Kelly.
I'm sorry, Grandma. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Kelly bowed deeply to greet her again and then approached the baby. We'll have a cute baby like this at our house soon too. Kelly was excited. However, my mother-in-law said to Kelly,
Hey, don't come near. You are dirty. Babies aren't yet resistant to germs.
She didn't show the baby to her.
I left some things you'll need in the attic, so stay there.
Kelly said.
Okay.
And climbed the narrow, dark stairs leading to the attic. In the room prepared by my mother-in-law, there was only a thin bed mattress and pillow. There was no electricity, and the darkness was still frightening for Kelly, who had never slept alone before. She became extremely anxious.
Can I really sleep here? I'm scared.
After putting away her belongings, Kelly returned to the living room. It seemed like neither my mother-in-law nor my sister-in-law even noticed her, as they were completely ignoring her. They were busy playing with the baby. When the baby started crying, my mother-in-law said to Kelly,
You, go prepare the milk over there.
Given such a demand, Kelly wouldn't have known what to do. As she panicked, my sister-in-law pushed her.
Useless child. You've been spoiled, haven't you?
Kelly felt like crying, but she held back her tears at that moment.
There's a baby right in front of me. I'm going to be a big sister soon. I need to be strong too,
she thought, desperately enduring with her small heart.
Hey, if you can't do anything, at least throw away this diaper.
She made Kelly dispose of the used diaper.
Yuck.
My daughter blurted out. Well, kids are honest, after all. This upset my mother-in-law and sister-in-law even more, and they began bullying Kelly again.
Grandma, I'm hungry.
Huh? Don't you have food expenses?
What's food expense?
Didn't you bring any?
Yes, I had told Kelly not to use this money for anything and had given her $300 for food expenses. Kelly took it earnestly, believing that she mustn't use this money, and didn't give it to my mother-in-law.
What kind of mother is your mother? We don't have the luxury to take care of you for free. We've got a baby to take care of.
Kelly didn't fully understand what my mother-in-law was saying, but she could sense that she wasn't being welcomed.
Then, there's milk over there, right? Go ahead and drink that milk.
My mother-in-law pointed to a bottle of milk prepared for the baby. Kelly was surprised and asked,
Am I supposed to drink the milk?
How many times do I have to tell you? Powdered milk is nutritious. Besides, it's quite expensive. Just be grateful you're getting it for free.
While scolding Kelly, my mother-in-law talked to the baby she was holding, saying,
You shouldn't become this kind of big sister.
Kelly reluctantly drank the milk from the bottle. It was powdered milk meant for the baby. The taste was bland and powdery.
Grandma, it doesn't taste good.
Such a noisy child, aren't you? Your mother didn't teach you anything. If you don't like it, you don't have to drink it. But there's nothing else for you to eat here.
Kelly had hoped to be warmly welcomed by her grandmother, so this treatment was painful and heartbreaking for her. She was starving. Not knowing what to do, Kelly picked up the phone to call us. She dialed the home phone number she remembered. However, my mother-in-law arrived and hung up the phone.
Are you telling your mother? I'm the one taking care of you. And yet, you're so ungrateful. If you call your mother now, she'll surely worry. It might even affect the baby in her belly. She might worry too much and that could kill the baby.
After hearing that, Kelly thought,
I can't let anything happen to Mom. I can't let anything happen to the baby. I have to do my best.
With that in mind, she couldn't even contact home. After that, my mother-in-law continued to exploit Kelly.
You're the one who said you wanted to come here for summer vacation, right? Then you have to take responsibility and stay here until the end.
My mother-in-law said to little Kelly with a faint smile. From then on, my mother-in-law continued to exploit Kelly.
Hey, you. I'm going to bathe the baby now, so go heat up some water. This is also something you need to do to become a big sister.
For Kelly, being spoken to like that made her feel vulnerable. Nevertheless, she went ahead and heated up the water as she was told. It was extremely heavy, and she almost dropped it, but she managed to carry it with all her might. She repeated to herself like a mantra.
This is also something I need to do to become a big sister.
My mother-in-law tried to put the baby in the water Kelly had heated.
Time for a bath. Wait a moment. Isn't this too hot? Do you want to burn the baby? If that happens, your brother will also get burned. You should check it properly with your own hands first.
Saying that, the mother-in-law spilled the hot water that Kelly had heated.
It's hot. Grandma, it's hot.
See? Do you understand now? You were using this on the baby. The baby's skin is thinner than yours. You could have caused a serious burn. What a foolish child you are.
Kelly ran up to the attic, soaking wet, and cried alone.
I want to go home. Mom, I want to go home.
It seems Kelly cried every day. I had no idea about any of this. I had been worried that she might become so attached to my mother-in-law that she wouldn't want to come home anymore. I never imagined she would be treated like this. Kelly's meals consisted of milk from a bottle for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Since you'll also have a baby coming, it's better for you to check what the baby is drinking.
Eventually, my mother-in-law even made Kelly change diapers. Kelly held her nose and changed the diapers as told.
I'm sure this practice will be useful for your baby brother too.
It was always about your baby brother whenever something was mentioned. Kelly, who had eagerly awaited the baby's arrival, was spurred on by those words and worked hard. Meanwhile, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law delegated everything to Kelly, while they enjoyed watching TV together or playing with the baby when it was in a good mood. Kelly watched from afar, wishing she could join in the fun too. Despite feeling hungry, she only had milk. Kelly rapidly lost weight. Growing Kelly sometimes couldn't sleep due to hunger. During such times, she secretly sneaked to the refrigerator. Inside the fridge, there were plenty of delicious-looking dishes. Kelly hurriedly grabbed some of the food and ate it in the dark corner of the kitchen as if she were possessed. It was then that the baby began to cry.
It's time for milk. What should I do? Grandma is coming.
Kelly quickly returned the food she was eating to the refrigerator and fled to the attic. Unaware of what was happening, my sister-in-law came and started preparing the milk. As soon as she opened the refrigerator, she shouted loudly,
What's this?
Kelly prayed silently, wrapping herself tightly in the blanket, hoping not to be found out. In the refrigerator, there were partially eaten dishes.
Kelly.
My mother-in-law came up to the attic in a rage. Just the thought of Kelly's fear at that moment made me heavy-hearted.
You, little thief. Sneaking into the fridge and eating whatever you want.
She attacked Kelly with words as she lifted the blanket, leaving her trembling in fear.
You're just like that, aren't you? I knew it. After all, your mother, who gave birth to you, stole my precious son from me. If the parent is a thief, the child will be one too.
Don't say bad things about my mom.
Kelly shouted while covering her ears.
Don't act all high and mighty. Your mother, you know, practically eloped with my son to get married.
Eloped?
Kelly didn't understand the meaning of eloped.
Your father already had someone lined up to marry. It's called an arranged engagement. If that marriage had gone through, we could have lived in a splendid mansion. But instead, he was deceived by your foolish mother and married her, someone who had nothing. They went against our objections, quietly had a wedding ceremony, and even submitted the marriage papers. It was a betrayal, all because of your mother. Apparently, you were already in her belly at that time. So, my son reluctantly married your mother because of the situation. Your mother threatened our son.
Kelly couldn't understand all the difficult words her mother-in-law used, but she seemed to grasp that my mother-in-law disliked her mother and that my mother-in-law was being mean to her because her mother married her father.
Grandma, I want to go home.
Huh? You're not going home yet. Summer vacation isn't over yet, right? You need to work hard. And hey, you're going to have a baby too, right? So, big sister, you gotta do your best.
With that, the grandmother gave a creepy smile.
Then let me talk to Mom.
A phone call? If your mom hears your voice, she might cry because she misses you. You wouldn't want to make your mom cry, right? I'll make the call for you.
And with that, she wasn't even allowed to make the call. Of course, there was no call from my mother-in-law. And so, Kelly's hellish summer vacation continued. After hearing everything from Kelly, I resented my mother-in-law for her cruelty. Kelly sobbed as she earnestly shared her story. Kelly, I'm sorry. I had no idea things were like that. I should have checked on you sooner. It must have been tough, painful. But you've been so strong. Thank you.
Mom.
As Kelly spoke up about everything, she finally noticed my stomach was flat.
Mom, what about the baby?
Kelly, the baby is born. He came out while you were fighting hard. It's a boy. Your little brother. Kelly's teary eyes immediately sparkled.
I want to see him,
she said, rushing up to the front door. Now, my precious Kelly has been tormented by that awful mother-in-law and sister-in-law. How should I get back at them? I won't let this slide. I'll never forgive them. 3 months passed, and my son started to hold his head up. I visited my mother-in-law's house to introduce my son to her. Sitting in front of my mother-in-law, I said, "My daughter was very well taken care of during the summer vacation." With that, I handed her $300 as food expenses. My mother-in-law replied,
Well, isn't it only natural to bring this first? Not bringing anything and just giving the child. That means one less mouth to feed at your place, right? Well, it's been quite a hassle for us.
I apologize for the oversight. I gave this to Kelly, but she didn't find the right moment. It's a small token of apology, but please accept it, I said as I handed her a gift. With joy, my mother-in-law opened it, only to find 3 baby bottles inside.
We don't need so many baby bottles. 1 would have been enough. I would have preferred something else.
No, these baby bottles are for you and your daughter.
Huh?
Then, I proceeded to give her some cookies.
These are cookies, right?
Yes, they're cookies made with 100% powdered milk.
What are you up to?
Then I silently went to the refrigerator and threw away all the groceries.
What do you think you're doing?
She panicked.
Have you gone mad?
She desperately tried to stop me. I said, "It seems you've been giving powdered milk to my daughter, using a baby bottle." I heard it all from her. It seemed like you were taking good care of her, so I wanted to express my gratitude.
Gratitude? How is this expressing gratitude?
It seems you said powdered milk was very nutritious and you only gave it to my daughter and nothing else. I wanted to offer this highly nutritious food to you and my sister-in-law to become healthy and strong. So I prepared bottles for everyone. And if you have powdered milk, you don't need anything else to eat, right? That's why I disposed of everything else.
Are you sure you're in your right mind?
Of course. I am Kelly's mother.
Enough. What are you accusing me of? And anyway, your daughter wasn't adorable to begin with. It was you who ruined the engagement that was already settled, wasn't it?
No, that's not true. It was actually your son who called off the engagement. He personally made the call to decline. Perhaps you misunderstood?
What did you say?
It was your son's decision. Initially, I intended to raise Kelly on my own. But then your son begged me not to leave him.
My son wouldn't do something so pathetic.
What if I tell your son about what Kelly has been through? He might sever ties with his family. My husband is currently on a business trip, but he'll be back tomorrow. I intend to tell him everything. Mother-in-law really adored her husband. So, when she heard that my husband was going to marry me, she was truly furious. The person she had in mind for her son to marry was someone she got along with very well and who agreed to live with them. If her son married that person, he wouldn't have to leave them. She was desperate for that marriage to happen. But her son rebelled against his parents for the first time.
I have someone I love. That person is carrying my child. I insisted on marrying her.
Saying this and he left home as if he were running away. It was a tremendous shock for my mother-in-law. She felt like I took her son away from her. That her granddaughter took her son away. Because of that, she couldn't forgive me or Kelly, who shares my blood. Hearing that only Kelly was coming this time, she apparently saw it as an opportunity to bully her thoroughly. She's truly a despicable person. To unleash her selfish hatred even on a small child. Well then, I'm gonna leave now. Please make sure to drink powdered milk from the bottle and stay healthy. Goodbye. With that, I left my mother-in-law's house. Today, our house is lively with the sound of the baby crying again. The boy's cry is strong. It feels louder than Kelly's time. Okay, what's wrong? Diaper change, or milk? As I was pondering, Kelly says,
"Here you go, Mom,"
and handed me something. It was a bottle, and furthermore it had milk at just the right temperature, matching the warmth of the skin inside. Kelly, that's amazing. You can do something like this too. And look. When the baby drank the milk you prepared, he stopped crying.
"Well, I did it every day."
She was made to do it every day. Although I felt a mix of emotions towards Kelly, I praised her enthusiastically as she proudly spoke.
"Next, I think it's diaper change. I can do it, so Mom, take a rest. Since I can't breastfeed, you'll have to do that part, and I'll help with the rest."
Kelly changed the diaper with practiced hands. It's hard to tell who the mother is.
Kelly is definitely the mom.
Kelly has grown strong. Before, she couldn't sleep alone in a dark room, but now she sleeps alone in her own room, saying she shouldn't wake the baby. Kelly, you're amazing. You've become a big sister.
Yeah. I want to become a nursery teacher in the future. I want to take care of lots of babies.
Being bullied at her grandmother's house made Kelly stronger when she came back. And she even acquired the skills to handle babies. Is there another second grader who understands babies' feelings and can take care of them like Kelly? She will definitely become a great nursery teacher. I'm looking forward to it already.